Hello and welcome to a very Hallows Eve edition of the Modern Toyfare News, the weekly show that talks about toys. My name is Michael, and this week, once again, I am joined by one of the hosts of the Figuratively Speaking podcast, Nate. How are you this week, Nate?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
It's a pleasure, is all mine.
Can we just
So-
go ahead and say now I'm the permanent, temporary co-host?
Yeah, sounds good to
I
me.
don't think that's a real thing, but that's fine.
Hey, it's like retail. You just make up names and pay people the
Right.
same amount of money.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I give you a fancy
underneath
title
that.
and I pay you nothing. It works out
Yep.
great.
Very good. Yes.
So if you are new to the show, the way it works is we break down some of the news stories of the week in the toy world, and then we do weekly purchases, and after an hour of wasting your life, we'll send you on your way. It's kind of like a really bad Tinder date, so let's go ahead and get started.
Nice.
As always, we're going to start off strong with the weekly Mcfarlane section of the show. So this first one kind of caught some people off guard because it has one thing we've seen already, but ToyWiz, a very popular online retailer, has leaked out the new wave of the 7-inch DC multiverse figures, which will include the Death of the Family Jokerized Nightwing, Jon Stewart in his Green Lantern gear, of course, Bizarro Superman, and then Unmasked Flashpoint Batman, which we've already seen. And they had these listed for April of 2021. So I think it's funny. This seems to happen to McFarlane a lot. Is they send out all these pictures to people and don't think, oh, maybe we should actually, I don't know, post them ourselves first.
Yeah, I still can't quite figure out McFarlane's MO, like how they do things, because it's like every couple of weeks there's another 2 to 6 figures being offered or being shown, and then they show up in stores not that long afterwards. So I don't even think this will be April. I think we'll probably see these at the beginning of the year.
Well, the thing that baffles me is so you have companies like Mafex who just actively keep showing stuff every other week, but don't put anything actually out in people's hands. And then you have McFarlane who's like, here's something, and oh, by the way, you can buy this thing now. Like,
Yep.
It's like a revolving door over there.
Yeah, like all of those death metal or all the Dark Knight's metal figures and stuff, they're hitting. I have friends that are getting them already. I mean, actually, we just talked about them like 2-3 weeks ago, and they're out. And so yeah, like while this I think is a little bit further ahead, I don't think it's as further ahead as they think.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we'll probably get like full solicited, like real photos from McFarlane next week, and then I think it'll be the end of the year before we'll see him. To be honest, I don't think we'll be that long off.
It's a lot of reuse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, at the rate these figures are coming out, like if you don't like them, that's fine. There's going to be something you're going to like.
Month.
Yep, there'll be something you'll like.
I mean, for most parts, we have Nightwing. He's the red Nightwing that they just started releasing with the Red Hood 2-pack.
Yep.
And he's just got a Jokerized head, which, not gonna lie, the figure looks a lot cooler with the Jokerized head.
Oh yeah, it's like those Robins.
Oh yeah, I feel like that would work great with have them set up with him.
Yeah.
Then Jon Stewart Green Lantern. I mean, they did the cartoon one. It looked super wonky portion-wise, but this one looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
Bizarro Superman's just Superman with the S backwards and a new head sculpt, so
yeah,
that one was pretty easy for him.
That recent was that a Jokerized Superman?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah. A friend of mine got that one, and he said that the shield, the S shield, was removable, or was like a raised piece, so it wasn't like part of the sculpt. So they're going to be swapping that out and use that body. And now here's the proof that we're going to be seeing this used more and more, which is fine.
Yeah.
It helps pad out the listing and the waves and the overall line.
Honestly, I think the only real problem I have with it is just because it means that we're going to get more of the same characters while we wait for the other characters to come out, because they keep pushing out characters that you wouldn't expect them to push out. Like, these are characters that would never have been made in the Mattel era.
Right.
But at the same time,
I mean,
it's
that's why there's 15 Batmans in a month too. I mean, because they know what sells, so they're going to continue to push those Batmans. So hopefully they can put out those other characters as well.
I just hope since they're doing this, like clearly with the Jokerized stuff, you could do the entire Justice League and get that like opening sequence from the beginning of the New 52 where like he's in the Bat Thrasher and he's fighting off all the Jokerized versions of like Superman and Wonder Woman and I think even Aquaman. So like that'd be pretty sweet to see him roll those out.
Yep, and then they could use those bodies again, and yeah.
I mean, realistically, they could just use the movie Wonder Woman's body. Like her costume
probably.
is pretty solid for like a comic book version. Just make the colors a little brighter.
Yeah.
But that's not all for Mcfarlane. So Todd himself put out a photo of the early production sample. So we've seen the prototypes of this. Now we're seeing like getting to the finish line for those people who did it for the Kickstarter Spawn figure. Once he signs off on this, that's it. It's going to start being thrown into production and hopefully get into people's hands soon because it's been going for a long, long time.
It's been since this, I think it was like in the spring, maybe?
I feel so much longer. Maybe it's just, 2020 syndrome.
Right, yeah.
Every month feels like 6.
I mean, granted, this is Todd McFarlane, so like there's not going to be a lot of risk with them for Kickstarter, but I've got Kickstarters that haven't been delivered that we're coming up on 4 years now. So, and they keep saying they're coming.
I think I saw there was a huge thing about, there was one company that did a Kickstarter for they almost looked like G.I. Joes.
Mm-hmm.
But they were real generic looking. And people were just blowing up their Instagram, like calling them, scammers, this and that, because like they hadn't posted anything in like 6 months, and they told people that they want a refund to just email them, and they're not responding to emails. And I'm like, oof, like that's not the route to go if you're an indie toy company.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily with these we haven't had that much of an issue yet, but there has been massive delays. So this is good signs, though. I mean, it's McFarlane. Did you go in on this at all?
No, I like Spawn's cool, but I've never been a huge Spawn fan. And honestly, with McFarlane, Spawn always seems to be stuck in that like lean back pimp pose. So I'm like, I'm good. I like my figures to at least be capable of a vanilla pose if I need to put them on a shelf out of the way.
Yeah, I got one. I just got the regular classic looking Spawn. I was.
You didn't get the 3 Spawns with the 8 heads and the 47 like weapons.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of stuff that I guess is coming with all of them, but I just ordered the one. I was like, it was $40, which I thought was reasonable. And then looking at the box and stuff, I think it will be really, really cool once it comes in hand. And if you're gonna have a Spawn, I mean, that's the definitive one, at least at this point.
Until next year when he does another Kickstarter.
Right, which I'm sure I'll do.
I will say this, in the picture, the cape looks phenomenal.
Really
compared to the prototype pictures where like the hinge looked really noticeable, like this looks really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for these. I mean, I bought that first wave of McFarlane Spawn figures way back in the day. Actually, I think that first series is still when it was called Todd Toys. Oh
wow. That is a long, long time ago.
Yep, it was like 95, I think, yeah. And they got in trouble from Mattel, of all people, because I guess one of Ken's friends was named Todd, and they didn't want there to be any confusion. I mean, they were just being jerks.
Oh, yeah, because, everyone's going to be like, oh, man, Barbie's best friend is secretly Spawn. Like, that's where they're going to go with that.
Right, yeah. So that was so stupid, but it was McFarlane Toys is a better name anyway, but...
Oh, yeah, it's way better than Todd Toys. Todd Toys sounds like some cheap rinky-dink little, like, mom-and-pop shop that sells, like, wooden trains.
Yep. Todd Toys.
Todd Toys.
Old-fashioned Todd Toys.
So speaking of Todd Toys, we have one more thing of news for them. So they have their Platinum Series bronze-colored variants for the DC Multiverse line. And there's Arkham Knight and Batman, and then there's Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Now they've announced these, they've shown off like pictures of them posed, but now it's like here they are with the accessories, here they are in the box. So they should be shipping really soon. My problem is, so they're supposed to be bronze, but I feel like the final product, that's 100% gold. That is not.
Yeah.
That is not bronze at all.
It doesn't look bronze. No, they're very gold. They're statues. Yeah. I mean, I hope whoever's buying these likes these. I think they're really dumb. Like, I just don't. Yeah. That time has passed. I mean, that was definitely a McFarlane thing way in the late 90s, but that time I thought had passed. So
Well, it's
People are
been in the
buying them and
collector
they like
world.
them.
I feel like
Yeah,
it has passed because
yeah,
like even like in Funko Pop world, they try to do like the bronze and the pewter and all the weird stuff, and those just sit on the shelves becoming peg
yeah,
warmers until
yeah,
they get like thrown away.
yeah. I saw one the other day. I think it was at Walgreens. Like it was supposed to look like it was made of wood.
Oh yeah, I've seen
It was like
that.
Spider-Man, but it was wood. It was
Yeah,
very
I'm like,
strange.
I'm all for reuse to get your money's worth out of a skull, but come on now,
Right.
if you're that
Yeah.
desperate that you need to make a Spider-Man made of wood, like
Yeah.
that's that's pushing it.
I think so.
I will say the Batman's pretty cool though. Like I feel like that'd be like a really cool if you have almost like a town square diorama to have that as a statue
Mm-hmm.
because with the black
Yeah.
bat symbol like that, I feel like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, Deathstroke, can't think of any necessarily reason you'd need a gold Deathstroke or even to use him as like a statue.
Mm-mm.
Um, so yeah, if you're into the gold stuff, good for you. Buy them so we don't have to.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
But we're going to move on to Metacom. They announced 2 new Mafex figures, ironically, last week, right after I got done editing the show. So we
Yep.
have
I saw that. Noticed that.
that's usually how it works with them. Is I'll finish
Mm-hmm.
editing the show, and then it's like, boom, here's our announcements. And then people are like, why didn't you put those in the show? I'm like, we were already done recording.
Yep.
So we've got Knightfall Batman, who will come with an unmasked head, and also looks like a grappling hook that plugs into his gauntlet, which is pretty sweet. And he is set to come out in September of 2021. And then we have the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And he has all sorts of different web effects like all the other Spider-Mans they do, but he has multiple masked heads and then an unmasked head. And he is also set to come out in September of 2021. So I am desperately trying to not fall down the Mafex like rabbit hole. But they're
These
making
are
it so hard.
two good ones, though. I mean, first
Yeah.
of all, they announced those both the same day. I was like, "What year is this?" Like Ben Riley Spider-Man and John Paul Valley Batman. Like this is like 1994, 93.
Right?
Which I mean, I was a way bigger DC fan. Now, I wasn't buying the books monthly, but I would get those big Knightfall, trade paperbacks when they were first coming out, and I'd just go through that, and then of course Knight's Quest, and I loved that stuff. That whole thing with Jean Paul Valley. That's such a dumb character. Whatever. They strictly introduced him for him to become Batman, so then they could take him out later. But I didn't care. The '90s were full of replacing your hero with somebody stupid that you wouldn't trust. But oh well, it was great. I love it. These figures are amazing. I don't want to go down that either, but I mean, here's hoping that maybe McFarlane might make the at least the Knightfall Batman. I'd love to see a Ben Reilly Spider-Man that looked like that in that suit redone by Hasbro. Yeah. They both look great.
And the best part is like even looking at the unmasked heads, like one, they look almost like they could be brothers.
Yeah.
But the hair and everything, it's like so 90s. It looks like it jumped off the page. Like they did a fantastic job. And like I am 100% getting the Dark Knight Returns line. That's my favorite. That's my definitive Batman. And the fact that we're getting Joker and 3 different versions of Batman, one that comes with Robin. I will hopefully get Superman. Hopefully, finally, we'll get a good, like, armored Batman. There's like so much they could do with this, and especially considering Mezco dropped the ball because they were real going strong on the Dark Knight train. Then they did that 2-pack with the Mutant Leader, and then off the cliff it went, and we never heard from it again.
I think that like with these import figures, like I would love to get more of these, but I mean, what are these? Like these are like close to like $100.
Yeah, they're at least like depending on where you get them between $75 to $100 for the singles, and then with like the Batman and Robin 2-pack, that's $150 to $180.
Yeah. What I really like though about the pictures that I saw, especially like when you were talking about like the unmasked heads were like full on 90s. Like they look like the art that they're modeled after, which is very cool.
Now
I would love to see.
That can change because they're prototypes, but like I have the Hush Batman, the blue one that came out. And that one that's pretty solid. It does like I will say I don't really have any use for the Bruce Wayne head just because it like with that Batman you're gonna either have him posed in like the the Jim Lee cover where he's like holding the cape on the gargoyle, or you're gonna have him in some like crazy fight with like someone else. You're not gonna have him unmasked. Like that's
No.
not gonna happen.
It's nice that they included it, I guess, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you're right. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, like there's some figures where it's like, okay, 100% I can use an unmasked head for that. But some of them,
Yeah.
it's like, no, this is going to be in this pose forever on my shelf until one
Yep.
day I take it off to put it back in the box and I break it because it's so stiff from being in that same pose.
Yep.
Ironically, that happened with my Mafex Dark Knight Batman, the Bale Man. Yeah, he was in a pose for so long that I went to turn his head and just fell right off. I'm like, oh.
Yikes! I hate that. It happens a lot, especially with like old early 2000s NECA. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll actually knock one over and it just shatters like glass.
Yeah. And then the worst part is they're like, oh yeah, we can't replace it, but we can sell you a replacement part. And the replacement part was as much as buying a new one after shipping and everything. And I'm like, I'm good. I'll just throw it away, I guess. Sell it to someone who might use it for custom fodder.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But moving on from them, we are going on to Hasbro. So they had a leak also this week. But then they just, unlike Mcfarlane, officially announced it instead, which is the Target exclusive Marvel Legends Retro Cyborg Spider-Man, which will be out later this year. And like at first people were kind of like, oh, is this real? Is this a custom? Because like the pictures were literally some dude like sitting in his den with it. And then next thing you know, here's all right then, a like glamour shot of it, and here it is in the package.
Yeah, it's disappointing that it's another Target exclusive. Just because it's been Target, and Target's just been kind of a pain lately. But
yeah,
it's cool. It reminds me of going to KB and digging through those bins and coming across those Spider-Man figures, because there was a lot of the Spider-Man variants on those animated style cards. So, I mean, I've gotten all of them so far, although I've started to open them. So, like, I might get that Spider-Man and keep him carded, because I try to keep a few of the non-essential ones carded just because I love those card backs.
Oh yeah, they're so amazing. Like even when I got Kingpin and I opened him, like I took an X-Acto knife and I'm just like, I'm gonna gently cut this plastic so that way this thing still looks really cool.
Yeah, that card is amazing. That thing is so huge. But yeah, I love all these. I was kind of, I don't know if it was like wishful thinking, or I saw it on a rumor list as well, as that J. Jonah Jameson was going to be part of this retro line as like a fan channel or store exclusive. So I don't know if this now negates that, or if there could be another one yet. Because I mean, Marvel Mondays is coming up, I think next Monday. So we'll see if Pulse maybe puts something up too. But I love the fact that they can keep doing these vintage carded one-offs even after the assortment or the wave has shipped, and they can keep doing these for fan channel. It's a great way to re-release things or do things that maybe aren't a necessity for others, so they don't include them in a Build-A-Figure wave or something like that. I think that's a really cool way to do it.
I agree. It's great because it also eliminates the hassle of being like, oh, well, now I have to go from store to store looking for it. I mean, granted, it still sucks because it's on Target, so it's going to sell instantly.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like
if it gets it made, I mean, that's cool too. The definite problem with Target has been the website. Other than the G.I. Joe stuff, that's still been really, really difficult to find in stores. Most of the stuff you'll find at Target at retail eventually.
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of things that have been Target exclusive, I think the only thing I haven't seen at my Target has been is it the Baroness with the motorcycle?
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. That's the one thing I haven't seen, because I've seen almost all of the Toon Turtles stuff there at some point or another.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of the wrestling figures that are exclusive there. I've seen, it's taken a while, but I have seen some of the like Build-A-Figures that are now just deluxe figures that were like exclusive, and some that weren't exclusive. And I think I've seen all three of the like motorcycle with a figure. Like I think there was 2 Punishers and there was Squirrel Girl. Yeah, so it depends because Target's distribution is real choppy. I mean, so is
Yep.
Walmart's. So like, if your Target sucks, then hopefully you have a Target within a reasonable drive that you can kind of go, or you have someone else who can look
Right.
for you.
Exactly.
But that is not all for Hasbro this week. So they pretty much they showed off just painted images now of the Mandalorian Razor Crest and even
Yeah.
some interior shots of it. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this thing has less than 2 weeks left till the campaign closes, and it really is now time to shit or get off the pox. This thing looks absolutely incredible, and oof, if I had a spare like 300, if
Yeah.
whatever bucks, I'd be all in on this because it's really cool, especially painted. And seeing
Yeah.
it
No,
with
it
him
looks really
posed.
good. Yeah, it looks really good. They hit the third like unlock goal, I think, today
Mm.
for the carbonized blocks, and they added 2 more goals now.
Yeah, I saw that there's 2 mystery goals now, so I'm curious to see what those
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe some of it might be some battle damage panels or something like that. So maybe you can
That'd be kinda
remove some of
cool.
the panels and make it look kind of jacked
I feel
up.
like
Because I
that'd
mean,
be
it's
that's a no-brainer because like pretty much every panel on that thing's removable. So like that'd be real easy to manage.
yeah. So especially because like it looks like this season is gonna. And I don't know if anybody else is out there listening, but we're literally recording this on the eve of the second season coming out, so we have no idea. But I think that part of the thing with the second season is that the ship is damaged, so I think that would kind of tie in nicely. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
But
granted,
it looks great.
by the time this actually gets released, they'll probably be like, he has a new ship.
Yeah, probably. They have
Man.
to at least wait until that funding window open or closes because you could still technically cancel your pre-order.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this: if you're someone who's on the fence and is willing to pay more in the end, but doesn't want to pay it up front or can't pay it up front, Big Bad Toy Store does still have it up, but it's $500 instead.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay until next August, which gives you time to save up. So for those people who can set money aside to not touch it, that might be your better option because it sucks you have to pay like I think it's 50 or $100 more. But I mean, right now with everything that's going on in the world, $300-400 is a bit of a steep jump
Yeah, if you
for a
can
lot of
comfortably
people.
do it, because you'll never get it cheaper than it is right now.
Mm,
But yeah, if you need to wait a little bit, I mean, the Big Bad Toy option is the way to go.
yeah.
I got super excited. Speaking of waiting for things to ship that were a long time. I have like on my FedEx manager, my Super 7 Snake Mountain label has been
Ooh.
created, but it hasn't shipped yet. But some people have
Wasn't that the
gotten there.
worst?
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. I get the little text saying the label's been made, and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, and then you sit there for like 4 or 5 days, and it's just like hasn't been scanned, and you're just like,
Yeah.
come on. Granted, there's been some cases where like it will say it hasn't been scanned, and it'll be at my door,
Right.
and it'll be like delivered, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you just skipped like every step in between.
Yeah. I have something similar to maybe say about that later on.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, little tease, little.
I like that.
Yeah.
But to go along with all of your Mandalorian goodness with the Razor Crest, they did have a slew of new announcements. First, with the Black Series, we have the unmasked Mandalorian with the child, and he actually is like comes with the little like egg thing and to put the child in, which is really cool. And then you also have, which I believe is he exclusive to Target? Because I know he was up on Target's website and sold out pretty quickly.
He is exclusive to Target. Yeah, I was able to get one. I was pretty shocked.
I was on the fence about it because I actively am trying not to collect Star Wars, but I'm like, okay, Mandalorian feels like it's that one like thing that you can kind of justify getting a couple of them. But then I saw his face and I'm like, never mind.
See, I don't think his face is that bad. I think it's a pretty good likeness. I think it looked better when we have it in hand. They almost always do anymore with digital face printing. They end up showing it too big. I don't know. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like that's the case. I think I don't know, just in the pictures, like I've even seen people make fun of it saying he looks like Sloth from Goonies, and I'm like, you're not far off on that one. Like he definitely his face he looks a little pudgy in the face, I guess is the problem.
He does, but he kind of does in that scene though too.
True.
So, I mean, we only saw his face once, but what I was going to say about that is the original promo shots for the Logan 2-pack actually didn't look very good, and having it in hand, it's probably some of the best likenesses that Hasbro has done in the last year.
Are you talking about the Old Man Logan and and Professor X?
Yeah. Those are, I mean, just amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, that's 100% why I didn't get them, is because I was already like, okay, it'd be really cool to own that because I love that movie. I still stand that that's probably the best comic book movie like ever made. But then I saw Logan's face, I'm like,
yeah, no, it looks really good in hand.
That's good to know. I'm glad that they didn't shit the bed on it completely on that one.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But also with Black Series, they did announce the speeder bike scout trooper with his actual speeder bike, and he even includes the fully punchable child in a satchel.
Yep.
Which I thought was just a great thing to make into figure form, because that's what everyone's gonna do.
Yep. I thought this was like an absolute no-brainer because it's almost 100% reuse with the Biker Scout and the speeder bike. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to make it an Amazon exclusive, like for those who really want it. They can get it for like some people like that maybe even have it or just don't want to deal with all the ancillary characters. It's an easy pass for some, so that's a perfect exclusive. Yeah, and if you want, you can buy two and then just,
Yeah, they have this friend sitting there like, dude, that's fucked up. Why are you punching that baby?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a great story on, I think it's on Conan, where Jason Sudeikis, who was actually that biker scout, was telling the story, and they shot it like 6 months, before, and then by the time like it aired and like his kid was watching, like his kid wouldn't talk to him for like a couple of days because he punched Baby Yoda, and it's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's really funny. Oh man. So they also did a number of announcements for their vintage line. We are also getting an unmasked Mandalorian and Child pack through that. We're getting the armor.
That's a Walmart exclusive.
Okay, that's not as bad. I feel like the Star Wars Walmart exclusives have been moderately easy to come by.
It just depends. Like they've been there. It's hit or miss. Some you'll get like every store will get just loaded with them, or no store will ever see them. It's very strange.
Yeah, because mine, like, they got that shipper in, but it was like within an hour, it was gone.
Yeah.
And then like the Luke and Yoda pack, like they had 10 of those. So I'm like,
right.
It really just kind of depends. And then we're also getting the Moff Gideon, which is pretty cool, and he comes with the Darksaber. And of course, that isn't all for the Mandalorian and Hasbro.
Nope.
So we are also getting a wave of retro Kenner style figures, including the Mandalorian, IG-11, Cara Dune. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Is it Queel? The Child, of course, Kreef Garga, and Moff Gideon as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not in, like, the retro thing doesn't tickle me like it does a lot of people. Right. But having something like this that looks like the original Star Wars figures is pretty cool. That was brilliant on their part.
It absolutely is, and that was like the thing with the retro collection when it was originally announced. They were showing off. It was re-releases, but then they did a Grand Moff Tarkin figure in the game, which was really cool. So I think a lot of people had hoped they were going to do more figures that never got made in the original Kenner days, and this is a great example. And I think it's a good choice. One, because Mandalorian is super popular right now, and anything that they put the child's face on is going to sell. But you can appeal to a demographic because, people are coming back to Star Wars with the Mandalorian that maybe didn't love the prequels or didn't love the sequels, or maybe just didn't necessarily understand all the Skywalker Jedi stuff. They could watch this show and get that Star Wars feel again. And some of those older fans are going to be like, oh, hey, when they see these in stores, all these are like what I had as a kid, only they're the new show. So I think it's really, really smart to do that too, for a couple of different reasons. And I think that.
Oh yeah, especially if you're someone who still has all those and you have them loose, right? And like if you have the ships, like to have those like where you can intertwine them and stuff, like that'd be just awesome.
Yep, absolutely. Like I think my brother would be a person that would like kind of pause at this because he likes the show, but he hasn't picked up a figure since he was like 11. So we definitely diverted paths in that section. But I think that would kind of appeal to him in a certain extent too, though.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. They even have like the weird like trench coat capes,
Mm-hmm.
which I saw that and I was like, that really makes it. Cause if they wouldn't have done that, then it would have been like, oh, you didn't go all in. You just put your big toe in.
Yep.
And they do label this as Wave 1, so it makes me curious if it's Wave 1 of The Mandalorian, or if it's Wave 1 and next we're going to be getting other characters from maybe like Clone Wars or the prequels in that form. So you can really, if you're someone who only does the Kenner figures, flesh out that world.
Yeah. I think it would be cool. I definitely would like to see them do more, even original trilogy. There's still a lot of characters that never got made. I think that would be a cool way to do it, and then you could have a third, Star Wars figure line running concurrently with the other two.
I mean, they could even go as far as just to re-release the originals, because let's be honest, the like real Ghostbusters figures that were just re-releases of
that's what they originally were.
Yeah,
they did those. They did Star
Wars.
They
did do those at some point?
Yeah, they did Star Wars, and that was exclusive to Target a couple years ago. And then this past year, this spring, Empire Strikes Back was a Walmart exclusive.
Oh wow!
So then I bet we'll see. Yeah, they didn't stick around a lot. I mean, they're kind of cool in the sense that like they have like the cards are kind of weathered looking to make them look kind of old. The figures aren't exact, just like the Ghostbusters. They're kind of like re-sculpted from that, and obviously we don't still have the original. Well, not obviously. I don't imagine that they still have the original molds. So I think they re-sculpted them.
They just threw shit away when they were done with it. They didn't keep
it. Right. And they are a little bit different because I have my vintage and I've seen those. The weapons are a little bit different, and that's important because that then preserves the original, the true vintage figure too. So nobody's like swapping, weapons into the old figures and stuff like that. So, but yeah, they have done that, and it's been pretty popular. And I imagine they'll do Return of the Jedi here in the next year or two, or wait until 23 when it's the 40th anniversary of that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense that they do it then. So moving on from Hasbro, though, we are going to discuss something I'm really excited about, and that is over the past few months, BossFightStudios has shown off sketches of their upcoming Umbrella Academy figures. And we've seen Cha-Cha, we've seen Vanya, and now we're getting a look at Diego. And there's parts of these that scare me, parts of these that look really cool. I'm still disappointed that they're like 4 inches tall, but I'm going to buy them anyway because I love the Umbrella Academy. It's an absolutely fantastic show, and I've actually been like trying to find the books because I don't want to do the trade, like the newer trade paperback. I kind of want to get the older one, but I may just break down and get it just so I can read it.
Yeah. I've not seen the show. I know. So my wife and my kid have. I was a big fan of the book when it first started. I really liked it. I read it right when it came out and really enjoyed it. I am also a big fan of what Boss Fight does. They used to work for Hasbro quite a bit, and they did a lot with G.I. Joe on especially around the 30th anniversary time and the Pursuit of Cobra. That was a big time for them, and they did a lot of the really, really good figures. And so that when they went on their own, they did Vitruvian hacks and stuff like that. Those are really cool, solid figures. So to know that they're doing these as well, I think they're going to be really great.
Yeah, I have no doubt they're going to be amazing figures. I will say I feel like the alternate head for Diego is a little weird. Like it's supposed to be like a yelling head, but in that picture it definitely just looks like he's been Jokerized.
Right.
And I love the fact that he's going to have the mask on in that one. Like,
yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite parts is like the domino masks that they use in that show are incredible. And like I'm like, now I want that in the movies, damn it. Like stop giving me these cut out where I can see their eyes. I want the whites to be covered.
Yeah, no, those are very cool. I've seen pictures and stuff of that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, you need to watch it. Like I
know.
I know for a fact based on like articles over online, it does diverge from the books quite a bit, which most things that get turned into TV series and movies do. But it's start to finish. There's not a single episode in either season where I'm like, ugh, can we move on? Like it's absolutely fantastic. I just hope that these do well because I don't want to just end up with like 2 members of the Academy.
Right.
Like at least at the bare minimum, I want Pogo and I want 5.
Yeah.
Like those are my 2 favorite characters in the show, and I'd love to get those in figure form.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested in seeing because, the 4-inch or the 1/18th scale has been super popular in the past, but right now it's just not popular.
Yeah.
And 6-inch is pretty much
It's where it's at,
everything.
Man. Size does matter, toy companies.
Yeah. Just we like them an average size.
Yeah, listen, Mcfarlane and Neca, we don't need your 7-inch bullshit. Bring it down.
Yeah.
Quit trying to shame companies like Hasbro and Mattel and
Mattel shames themselves.
They do. Mattel is so they just need to give up at some point.
They do.
So moving on from Umbrella Academy, last week we did talk about the announcement of Mezco's 112 collective Leatherface. Well, they put it up for pre-order, and they essentially have people now buying 3 of these because it's been revealed that he has 3 different heads and the ability to change parts of his outfit to match each head. And he's still available for pre-order on Mezco.com. He's $100, and that's brilliant. Like that's a real different like approach that Mezco does, because usually they're accessory heavy, or like they always try to find a way to cut back in some way, shape, or form and not to overdo their costs. But this seems like a game changer to be like, you get multiple different versions of a character in one.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and I was like, I don't really need it. Oh, I ordered it as soon as I saw all those heads and stuff, because I mean, typically even with Neca, we only got the ultimate regular Leatherface. We didn't get the old lady version. No, I shouldn't say that. The ultimate version came with the old lady head. But we've never gotten like the pretty woman in a really articulated version. They did one way back in the Cult Classics days, but I think Leatherface kind of gets left out sometimes and doesn't get as much figures and stuff made. So this was really cool. The only thing I thought was a little weird, I like it from an accessory standpoint, but all the blood splatter effects, I just thought that was a little odd because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like largely bloodless, at least as far as visual blood. Like you don't see it in the movie; it's all suggested, and so I just thought that was a little bit strange.
I feel like it's because they've been testing the waters with it, because they have a few other figures that are coming out with the blood effects, and I think it's one of those things where they like, okay, we need a couple more accessories, so let's do this because. Yeah, it may not be completely screen accurate, but people are still going to want to pose this on their shelf with him chainsawing Batman in half and blood going everywhere.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to use them. I just thought it was a little odd.
Yeah, because I think it was the Deathbringer. I noticed they had a lot of those effects with him, and even had like a puddle of blood with like half of a like orc face, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, I ordered this, and now I'm like, well, which ones do I go back and get if I'm going to get all the big icons? And it's like, ugh.
Well, you said you have Jason, right?
I do. I already have Jason, so I would need Freddy. I would need Michael Myers, which I think he's getting pretty pricey. I probably would want to get Ash, Pennywise.
I mean, for the most part, aside from Michael Myers, the other ones haven't really moved in price. Some of them are gone lower than retail, which is kind of depressing when you think about it. So I feel like that collection wouldn't be like bank breaking, but it definitely wouldn't be pleasant.
Right. Especially because I mean they're about $100, anywhere from $75 to $100 a piece.
I mean,
they aren't worth it.
If you get into the Facebook groups, though, you can usually find some of them. Like I've seen Freddy and Pennywise go for closer to like $60.
Okay.
Just because the horror ones, they have a very, very like direct crowd that they're aimed at.
Right.
So like a lot of times people who decide they don't want them anymore, people who buy them trying to flip them, get stuck with them, and they're just trying to make any money back.
Well, that's how I got my Jason. I got it. I think I paid $50 for it. Like it was not expensive at all. I mean, comparatively.
Comparatively to like NECA, it's still expensive, but for what you get, like, and especially for a Mezco figure, it's not bad. But yeah, you just have to kind of keep your eye out in some of the Facebook groups because you can get the horror ones pretty cheap usually.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out because I may now.
So moving on to our final news story of the week, we've got Neca, who has two things. The first one, we got final package images of the 8-inch Richard Simmons, which still cracks me up. And then we've got now this one confused me because they acted like they were announcing something new, but I'm not even percent sure. I showed these off a couple months ago on the show. And it's the 7-inch Ultimate Battle Damaged City Hunter Predator, because I'm 90% sure I talked with Jamar, I think it was during SDCC, about like, I almost want this just because of the badass part where his arms chopped off and all like the bright greens and stuff. So
the only thing I can figure is it must be closer to coming out than we thought. Like they announced it and now it's coming. I don't know, because I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was new. Yeah, I knew that they released a Jungle Hunter before, but I knew specifically they were going to release this battle damage one with the cut off arm.
And all the pictures are 100% the same, because I remember seeing the one where it shows him with all the accessories, most of which I didn't know what they were, so I had to make up names for him. And then I remember being like, oh, that's cool. You can, his forearm is like cut off and like blood everywhere. Like, I remember being like really into this Predator. Yeah. So that's a weird sentence. But so I'm just very confused on how this is news. But yeah, Richard Simmons, that one, like, it's cool in the sense of like, all right, at this point you can literally make anything into a toy. I just can't imagine there's a huge market for people who are like, let's jazzercise.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's like, I mean, the Golden Girls, when they did those like made sense because they have this history. Like, there's just a thing. Like, maybe not for action figure collectors, but like other people.
There's still this weird popularity among like millennials and like the generation Zers or whatever the hell they're called, where they're just like, oh, I love the Golden Girls.
Right.
Like, that was nowhere near their time.
Yeah, like I watched it as a kid, didn't really get it because I was a kid.
I didn't either. I'm just like, oh, it's a bunch of old ladies fucking jabbering at each other.
But like 2 or 3 years ago, my wife and I, we rewatched it on Hulu through the whole thing, and it was really good. Like, it legitimately was a funny show. So like when those came out, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. The Richard Simmons one makes less sense, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that's hilarious. And they're doing pops of them now. So my only thing there is I hope the money is going to him, because there's been some sort of things over the last few years that he like disappeared and nobody knew where he was, and he was like being like taken care of by his like nurse or something. I don't know. Things got weird.
Very, very much kind of like what happened with Stan Lee, where like things got real sketchy real quick.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that everything's legit and he's okay, because I mean he's an interesting guy to say the least.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get it. I don't know. Like, part of me is like, no, like that makes it's so dumb. But the other half of me is like, yeah.
I mean, he's not even average size. He's above average size.
Yeah. So,
I mean, he's got to be thrilled that he's 8 inches. Like,
yeah. I mean, congratulations, Richard. It's all I can really say.
Oh man, good times for Neca. So there's a reason why I decided to end the stories with Neca this week, and that's because you get to finally experience what me and Jamar did for the entire summer, and that is the return of Turtle Watch 2020.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a handful of things, just enough that I could revive this. First is being that Garbage Playmates is garbage, and they're re-releasing their Mirage-style figures of the Turtles again in another fancy like specialty box that looks like the old bus from the comics. And now they have repaints of Splinter and Shredder, so they're a little more color accurate to the books. Pretty meh. If you're into that thing, and you do like, or if you're someone who like you don't have a lot of money and you can't justify spending money on the NECA versions of those or even the knockoff NECA versions, I guess these are for you, but they just look so bad, and I don't get it. But hey, there gotta be someone out there because they're selling.
Well, I ordered them. But I also agree with everything you said too. So like, I ordered them because they were $40, and I was like,
which is better than the last set they did, because they did the 80s Turtles for Comic-Con, and those were $100.
Yeah, and I think it's the same number of. This has 6 figures in it total.
Yeah, it was the Turtle, Shredder, and Splinter is what you got with that one, and that's what you get with this one.
And it's $40. So I was like, I'll order it, see what happens. But my thing is like, all right, so NECA and Super 7 are just killing it with collector level turtles. And for whatever reason, Playmate seems to also be like, hey, us too, guys. We can make these too. So they offered those class. I think they were actually called classics back in the day. But those larger, like 7-inch, 6-inch ones that they offered then in the Mirage colors that they are now putting out. They offered those over the summer, and now they're offering these, and it's like, why don't you leave the collector figures to those other companies? Like, why aren't you doing what you do best, which is make kick-ass turtle toys for kids? Like,
why are you doing that? Didn't the most recent cartoon already get canceled?
It did. So, like, why aren't they just like they are the master toy license? And maybe they don't want to go on their own, but you'd think that they would like try to at least do something to capture that youth market too. I think it's because it's severely untapped right now, which is weird because there's always been Turtle Kids toys on the shelf, but this is the first time in a long time that we don't have any, and Playmates keep trying to go after that market that obviously NECA and Super 7 are doing way better.
Yeah, I think what probably is happening is with that show getting canceled, they're now stuck in this limbo where they're like, okay, we'll wait for the next show, or we'll wait for this CGI movie that's coming out. Like, they have to wait for some sort of property because they aren't going to pay to have people come in and have original ideas on Turtles. They are in the spending money business. They're in the let's give you the least amount of deco and the most simplistic reuse that we can to make what money we can. So I think that once we either start getting a trailer for the new CGI movie, or Nickelodeon announces a new cartoon, that's when we'll see them start going back into the kids market. But now they're just trying to do whatever they can to keep it afloat, so that way they're not like, oh, well, we don't have any revenue coming in from Turtles, so let's just get rid of it, kind of thing. Or it could even be contractual where they have to release something, or the rights go back to whoever. So I don't know if they bought them outright or if they just had it kind of like most places do as contract.
As far as I know, I think they just license it. They just pay for it.
Because don't get me wrong, based on everything I've seen and read, Eastman and Bear did not handle contracts well in their days.
Right.
They're borderline like early 2000s Marvel, handing out their best characters to whatever movie studio will throw some money at them.
Yeah.
But moving on to more important Turtle news, we did get inbox images of Toka and Raza, and I'm giddy with excitement because that means they are for sure getting shipped next month, and I can't wait.
Yeah, they look great.
I'm still so happy that these were no longer Walmart exclusive, mostly because I'd have to have Jamar go look for them because neither Walmart has NECA section.
Ugh.
So I didn't have to pay probably $30 to have it shipped to me because these things are so
it looks heavy,
so freakishly large. So super excited about that. Target then leaked new images of the Android body Krang via a price checker, which is the greatest thing to ever have. Like, you leak something. I love the fact that he has the box that matches kind of like Metalhead versus the old VCR box.
Yes.
I have a feeling it's going to be massive though, because he's supposed to be bigger than Metalhead.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Metalhead's box was big, but yeah, I think he's at least a good
inch. Yeah, at least an inch or two bigger. So like, I feel like his box will be massive. And just looking at because it has a picture of it opened, and you can see it's just packed with accessories. So that's like you could defend yourself against Target security as you're running out the door with that thing. Like,
right.
Like, my God.
Yeah, it looks great, and that was a hilarious way to see it. I don't even know that I've seen pictures on my Target price checkers.
I mean, I do, but usually I have the thing in hand. So like,
it's like, great.
Like when
thanks.
the figure arts, like DBZ figures, started showing up, and I'd go and check because they never, of course, have any prices in the NECA section or the collectible section. So I would go and price it. And it's like, oh, here's a picture of it. Half the time, the picture is wrong. Like, they got the Kaioken Goku, and he scans in as Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. So
yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I'm more impressed that this person was able to find a price tag for Krang, because I don't think at any of the times I find these turtles on shelves is there ever a price tag. Like, that section is not organized enough to be having that.
No. Not at all.
But that is not it. We have one last piece of news from NECA, and unfortunately, wallets are rejoicing in the tears of collectors as the new release calendar crushes the hopes of getting any, well, not any, but much of anything in the form of new toys from the Turtle line in the final months of 2020.
Which
so
I'm okay with.
I'm too. Like, part of me's depressed because I was like,
Yeah.
sweet, the next 2 weeks I get, Splinter and Krang, and I'm done. I don't have to worry about this anymore because I'm not diving deep enough to get all those side characters. I just wanted the like main group, and I'm solid. So the new calendar looks like this, and some of this is already outdated, of course, because that's how Neca rolls. So with the Cartoon Target exclusives, the Trog and Granator came out on October 2nd. Triceraton Roadkill Rodney on October 15th. Zarax and Zork are set for November 12th now. Splinter and Baxter Stockman are now moved to just 2021. So not even like Q1 or like summer, just at some point. Deluxe Krang Android Body also moved to just 2021. And then moving over to the even harder to find Walmart exclusives. With the movie series, we have Casey and Raph already did get a restock back on October 10th. The Foot Soldier 2-pack released on October 19th. And Splinter and Shredder are set to come out here next week on November 2nd. And then with the NECA store on their website, we've got the Toko and Razar are shipping in November. But then, and this one makes me sad because, I've already paid for it, so it's not like I'm hunting for it. But the accessory set and the cartoon diorama are both moved to just Q1 of 2021. So they at least have a time frame.
That's what it was. Or at least that was close.
I think that was what people assumed, but Randy never came out and confirmed anything.
Oh, okay.
Every time anyone would ask him, he's like, I don't know, that's a question for the next store. Like,
okay.
So I assumed it would probably be like maybe a Christmas present kind of thing, because the cartoon diorama had been in development for a while. Like, he'd been talking about in interviews and over and over saying, oh yeah, our goal is holiday of this year. The accessory set was just kind of out of the blue, but that's still like kind of a small thing to produce. And if they already have finalized prototypes and everything done, I hoped that maybe the ball will be rolling, because everything else has been pumping out of factories like crazy, that we might get these by Christmas time. But I guess maybe Valentine's Day present wouldn't be terrible.
Ooh. I'll take it. They're already paid for.
Yeah. I'm just sad because I've been excited for these.
Yeah.
So I actually sold the movie diorama to get the cartoon one, just because I was like, I don't have space for both of them. And the cartoon one comes with way more cooler shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not that upset that the other Target ones got moved, just because this has just been a hell of a year. I do wonder, though, like, if something happened, that they're going to try to do something different with Target, just because Randy was so, like, a couple weeks ago when like that schedule came, or when the list of figures to come out this year, he was just adamant, no, it's all this year. It's all this year.
Yeah.
So then something happened to push these back, and I wonder if they're going to try something better or do something a little differently when it comes to the online pre-orders. I know that the online pre-order for the Roadkill Rodney and the other one,
Triceraton,
that online pre-order went up, like, I think probably 4 or 5 days after I got one. Like, I still haven't got it yet. A friend of mine picked it up for me, but he found it and they hadn't even gone up online yet.
Oh yeah, and that's how it was with Trog and Granator. Is they were in stores 2 weeks before they were scheduled to be, and then even then, still before they went up online. And there were people who were like actively asking on Twitter, like, "Oh, when are these going to go up? When are these going up?" And I'm like, "Your ass better get in store, because we don't know if they're going up at this point."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I do, because I can't imagine at this point, especially if like the scanner is leaking images of Krang, that they are making any sort of running changes that they need to like stop production and restart, because they'd be way too far along to announce this the week before they're supposed to come out. So I think you're right. I think it might be trying to figure out some way of better production. Maybe they're going to double up the production and they're going to cut it in half, and half is going to go up for order on the NECA store and half is going to go to Target.
Maybe that would be all right.
That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, that's it for Turtle Watch. So we can move on to what would Jamar's B's favorite part of the show, and that's show and tell. So let's do some weekly purchases. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to do it?
You go first.
Okay. So for the most part, literally my stuff is small this week. Um, First up, and Jamar makes fun of me for these, but I don't care. I am fully in love with the world's smallest micro action figures as action figures
Okay.
for my action figures. So I traded somebody. Now I have Battle Cat to go with him,
All
and he
right.
came with his own little box.
That's awesome.
If you haven't seen these, they're in the trading card section of Target, and they're like $5, and they have like GI Joe, Masters of the Universe, and Transformers, the ones I found. They also have the '90s Turtles and Power Rangers and a few others, and I'm like, I need them all. Um,
Hey, whatever makes you happy.
and the best part is they scale perfectly with this other thing I found, which I forgot this was even coming out. So a few months ago, I found the Hot Wheels Party Wagon. It was exciting, and now I've seen it. Well, I ordered like 5 of them from a dude on eBay for like $20, and now I've seen it like 5 times at Target, and I'm super annoyed. But at Walmart, I randomly came across this, the deluxe version.
Oh, awesome.
And this one's a lot more like closer to the Comic-Con version because the little like side panel opens. But like side by side, like now I need the turtles because that clearly is going to scale really well with them.
Yeah.
So like I was shocked to find that. Like I just randomly went down the Hot Wheels aisle on my way out of the toys section. I was like, oh, look at what this is. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
I did. Now this came in a week or two ago, and I keep forgetting about it. So it's gonna be this week's weekly purchase. But I got a mascot for Modern Toyfare. It's a dumpster fire.
Oh, I've seen pictures of those. I thought those were cool.
Yeah, they have like 8 different versions of it, and I'm super mad I didn't know about it, but they had a glow in the dark one that was like purple with green flames, and I would have been all for that. But I'm just like, for all the technical issues the show's had, this is 100% the mascot of this show. Um, and then this came in from good old Big Bad Toy Store. So Bluefin and Bandai did the exclusive Icy Arms Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero.
Oh.
Now he's posed like this because he had this accessory on. It's supposed to like his hands like slide into it. But I just want to say, whatever person who designed this, I hate you, because getting this to stay on his hands is so impossible because it's so heavy, and his hands don't like there's like little spots where they squeeze in there. But then by the time you like adjust his arms to like make it so they're in the right position, one of them pops out, and then the hand pops off, and it's just like a whole. Like I literally spent 45 minutes getting that thing on, and then that's what fell a few minutes ago with that big foot.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, well, fuck me, I guess. So yeah, I've got that. I normally don't collect the Storm Collectibles, like more combat figures, but that one, it was kind of one of those things where it was like really cool. It sold out fast on the Bluefin website, but Big Bad Toy Store had it, so I'm like, okay, either A, I'm gonna get this thing and be like, this is awesome, and I'm gonna want it and keep it. Either way, I'm gonna review it, and then if I decide I don't want it, it'll at least make my money back or more because it was exclusive and sold out quick. So figured it,
yeah,
it was a win-win no matter what. Except for I also learned that the icicles are very pointy and stabbed myself with one of them, which was unpleasant.
Yeah, those import toys don't give a crap about kids.
No, they don't. Yeah, I went to reach for something in the package, and one of the icicles legit like broke skin and like it didn't bleed, but I could see it was trying, and I'm like, damn, fatality.
Yeah.
That's all I got. So let's see what you. Right. Yeah, let's see what you brought to the table.
I definitely don't have as much as I had last week. And in fact, going into today, I didn't think it was going to be that much at all. But let's see, I'll start with this first because it's kind of boring. But I got the last that I needed of the GameStop exclusive gaming greats. This is the Electro Staff Purge Trooper. So I have all 8 of these now. Guess I should probably start opening them.
I mean that generally is a good step in the direction.
Yeah. Then I got Biff. So I haven't opened them yet, but people complain about Neca and how brittle they are. In fact, I really did earlier in the show, but normally I don't have too many problems with their new stuff. But I opened up Marty and I moved his arm and it just snapped
Oh.
right off.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'm gonna need to get a replacement. So I haven't opened up Biff yet.
I mean, one thing you can do, I will say this: Target's return policy is fantastic.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been like too long and you still have the receipt, if you just take it in and be like, yeah, I took him out and his arm fell off, they'll replace it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just waiting really for him to get new ones in.
That's
So
understandable.
the one thing I got, this is the coolest thing I've gotten in a while, I think. So I grabbed that Disney Store exclusive Diamond Select Boba Fett.
That's the one that where his the blaster, like there's a version where it's like cut off, right?
No, that is the Black Series one that's coming next year.
That's right. Never mind. Yeah.
So yeah, this is like the Mcfarlane Neca scale size. So
oh yeah, the like 7-inch ones. That's right.
Yep.
I forgot that they do those.
Yeah. Did I need a whole new scale of Star Wars? No. No, I did not. Should I have bought this? No, I shouldn't have. But I did. And in fact, I also bought Darth Maul, but I haven't opened him yet. So, but these two, it's weird. Like, there's really, I guess they've been officially announced, but I don't really understand what's going on with them. Like, they just kind of came out of nowhere that Diamond Select was going to do these. The only thing I don't
they did a
like
line for the new movies when they came out, like with I think the first one with like Episode 7, didn't they? Where it had like Finn and Rey and Kylo. And I think BB-8.
Disney Store did those. They did like these metal figures that were articulated, and they were like 7 inches too.
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually Diamond Select. The only thing I don't like, I haven't figured out if these flame effects on the jetpack come out. I don't want to pull too hard because this was literally right after I broke Marty. I was like, I don't want to pull too hard.
Isn't it the worst? You break one figure, then it's
yeah.
You're gonna stay there.
Yeah, like the gun has a firing effect, but it comes off. He does have a flame effect for his wrist gauntlet. The only thing is with that is like this is the Empire Strikes Back version.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference in the uniform for Return of the Jedi, and that's the only time he uses his flame effect. It's really the only time he uses his jetpack too. So, but it's very cool. If I can't take him off, then I guess I'll probably do him in some dynamic, flying pose or something. But it's really awesome. The detail is just absolutely incredible. The scaling, like the helmet, like it looks like there is a guy with a helmet on, and it just is very cool. The little sight thing is fully, yeah. So it's articulated very well. Around the gauntlets, it's a little rough just because you maybe get like a 45-degree angle, just because the gauntlets are weird. But for what you need him to do, he looks excellent. The Darth Maul doesn't look as good in the package as this does, just because this is a helmeted character.
Yeah.
But I do like it. It's gonna go back here with these guys instead of my regular Star Wars display because of the scaling.
Oh yeah, man. Because if you put them on the regular display, you'd be like, well, damn, now I have to get an entire line of 7 inches.
Yeah, well, they've only said these two so far. My ideal would be just to get one from each movie. That would be kind of cool. But we'll see what they offer. But I woke up this morning to a whole bunch of FedEx notifications that I was going to get some packages today. And 2 of the packages were coming from Walmart. And I was like, what am I getting from Walmart? Because everything that I've pre-ordered from Walmart is out in stores and I canceled the pre-orders or whatever. But I got 2 of the new Masters of the Universe Origins. So I got Orko, which this is a great figure. This really doesn't look like the vintage figure at all. This is actually really good. It's probably one of the best cartoon representations of Orko as well. And he comes on a really cool stand. No other accessories, but I like the stand and like the way I have him.
Pretty sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it really looks good. But even better was I got Scareglow. And most people have gotten him canceled on Walmart and on Amazon. He was a really sought after, and he's a very pricey figure on the secondary market for the vintage version. So like any version of Scareglow is really, really kind of popular. I remember when I got my vintage one as a kid, literally like I was a little kid and I loved Skeletor, and like back when you're a kid, you didn't know when new toys were coming out. And I remember for Christmas, I got this skeleton guy with a purple cape, and it said the evil ghost of Skeletor. And my mind exploded. I mean, that was so cool. And then because he glows in the dark, when I was a kid, I took my vintage figure and I set him up in a lamp. So
Mhm.
like charge him, and he melted, just melted to the light bulb. And then when I got to be a little older and I got back into toys, I was like, oh, I need to replace my Scare Glow. And I looked at the prices and I was like, oh, no, I'm not. And I didn't. I have never. So this was the next best thing. So I got him today. Seems like a lot of people aren't getting theirs from Walmart and Amazon, which totally sucks. I feel bad for that. Not that bad because I got mine. But I think my Manny Faces is coming Friday, and Trapjaw is just delayed. And that was the thing. Like I got onto because like when I saw that I was getting packages from Walmart, I jumped on Walmart website and I looked at my account, and those two figures still said delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I got them today. So
good old Walmart.
Yeah. So who knows with them? But I'm pumped because I ordered these. I mean, sometime in the summertime. Somebody on Facebook had alerted me that in a group that they were up for pre-order, and I honestly did not think these were going to come in. I just didn't, and I'm shocked that at least the Scarecrow, he's going to be the hardest one to get. I got him already, so I'm good. So that's it. That's all I got.
Sweet. Sounds like a pretty good week.
Yeah. After last week, this was a bit of a break.
I mean, you can't compete with last week every week.
Nope.
And so before I go over the giveaway, I do want to talk about. I've spent a lot of time on the show recently talking about how the wrestling figure community has ruined wrestling figures and got me out of collecting them. I do want to give a shout out. Not all of the community is bad, obviously. It's like that in every community, but some are just worse than others. I recently did a giveaway, which is still in the process in the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast's Facebook group. And we haven't hit the goal to get the giveaway yet, but essentially, like, we had a pretty big growth in a very short time. Like, in the less than a week that I've been doing the giveaway, we've gone up about 30, almost 30 subscribers. So shout out to them. Big thank you for being supportive. Hopefully more people subscribe so that way you guys get the chance to get those items that are up for grabs in that giveaway. And of course we have our own giveaway here on the show that we're still waiting to hit. This one's a little bit of a further goal down the line, but once we hit 350 YouTube subscribers, we're giving away a first place prize of the NECA Ultimate Metalhead action figure and a second place prize of the extra large NECA Musical Fusion Tour merch box bundle, which includes an extra large shirt, tote bag, souvenir ticket, backstage pass, and 4 guitar picks. All you have to do is subscribe and share or retweet the post on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag ModernToyFair100. And as always, if you're on Instagram, it has to be on your page. If you put it on your story, I'm not going to go and screenshot these. I'm not going to look at the hashtag until we hit 350. So I will not know that you are part of the contest. So make sure you're putting it on your page as a post. And if you have Twitter, it's way easier. You just go and click the retweet button and add the hashtag and you're done. So much easier if you want to do it that way. But again, you have to subscribe to the channel and then retweet or share the post with hashtag ModernToyFair100. So go do that, get us to 350. Or if you just want to make a bunch of fake accounts and get us there, I really don't care as long as the number gets to where it's supposed to be. But that's going to be it for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can catch Jamar over at Media Junkie on the Why Are You a Gamer podcast, where he talks to different members of the gaming community and finds out why they like video games and what made them a gamer. And it's a real fun conversation. I've been on it. It's not something where you have to go week by week. Every episode's kind of its own thing. So go give that a check out. He's going to be returning here hopefully in November, December with new guests. So get caught up in the meantime. And then, of course, we have Nate with the Figuratively Speaking podcast. We're inching closer and closer to a return. Do we have any updates?
The gauntlet has been thrown. So I think the plan is to be back by December.
All right. Sounds like Nate's over there in the group text.
Before December, yeah.
Before December. Nate's like, hey, you better bring this show back or I'm just going to leave and go be on another show.
Yeah, exactly. Because they got all jealous about it and got all weird. So I was like, hey, you guys got to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to go where I'm wanted.
I love it. First off, so just so that way, if they do happen to watch the show and they don't be mad at me, because when I sent the message to Nate originally to be on the show, I said, you or any of the hosts on the Figuratively Speaking podcast are welcome to be guest hosts on the show while Jamar is away. So I threw it out there for all three of y'all. So my hands are clean on that one.
Yeah. I'm just more fun.
So far, yeah. As always, you can support the channel by clicking the link below for tpublic.com. I sell anything from shirts, pillows, masks, cell phone cases, all sorts of stuff with our logo, or I even have different designs that I've worked up in the good old Photoshop machine. And then if you could please like and subscribe, and hell, even comment, because YouTube likes to make it super hard to get noticed, and you have to feed everything possible into the algorithm. So if you could do one, if not all three of those things, we greatly appreciate it, because we'd like to one day have this show at least pay for our toys. So get on that and make me happy. So if you don't want to do that, though, or if you do even, hit the little bell as well, because that'll give you notifications when the videos go up. We have Modern Toy Fair news on Fridays and Modern Toy Fair reviews on Mondays. If you don't enjoy staring at our beautiful faces, though, we do have Modern Toy Fair news available with audio-only version on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check that out, and hopefully we'll see you next week, same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.